Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to MHF. Arsenal are serious. Next season, FC. Gyokeres and Zubimendi are coming to Arsenal. Confirmed. Zubimendi is confirmed. Gyokeres is being... Arsenal are favorites to sign him now, so they're getting their striker. They're getting their DM. I don't know why, if they need Thomas Partey. And Spurs are about to sack Ange Postecoglou, even if he wins Europa League. But they're gonna absolutely, I think they're gonna batter Manchester United in the final. I think they're gonna win the final. Hit that like button, people, if you are here. They're about to win a European trophy, so even add to their trophy cabinet in Europe to be better than Arsenal, in Europe at least, not in the league. Spurs have won 2 league titles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
2 league titles, all right. Like, how many cups?
Oh, loads of cups. I think we've won 14 trophies in total, so maybe about 12 cups.
All right.
With about 7 or 8 of them being FA Cups as well.
Yeah, FA Cup is bigger than Carabao Cup, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we're here, guys, with Deji, and Gunnar Solskjaer is making his way back. He's not shy to appear after an Arsenal exit of the Champions League. What are we saying about this exit, bro? Are you proud?
Wait, proud to... No, I'm not proud to exit. I am proud of like some of the moments they made for us, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm happy to be out of the cup. But you know, I think you know, it's a disappointing second leg. I mean, one leg, obviously 1-0 down going into it. We should have, you know, really put it to bed in the first leg as well. As much as they had their opportunities, we got outshone, we got outclassed, and there's not really much that we can sit here and say, you know, that's the Champions League for you. You know, you've got to be taking your opportunities, otherwise you are going to get punished. And that's what we learned. And hopefully with the start of this sort of, whatever you want to call this, pre-transfer window with, you know, strikers being linked, Nico Williams and, you know, Rafael Leao coming out today as well. Hopefully Arsenal need business. I mean, that's who there's a few people saying Leao, some people saying, you know, Gittins is another one. So hopefully, like with all these attacker links, you know, they finally come to their senses that actually you need to put your chances away to win these things. So let's just wait and see, really. That's all I can say. I mean, the Champions League, disappointing, but yes, I'm proud of the Real Madrid performance, for example, but I'm not going to say I'm proud of being out of it.
You know the thing, of course you're not proud, but Arsenal put out a video saying proud like campaign and stuff like that. Do you agree with this?
I mean, not really, not fully. I mean, I'm happy with the fact that we went to Real Madrid and we shot a lot of haters up in that situation. But then we kind of done the typical Arsenal thing where we do one thing good and then we take a step back again. Now, not to take credit away from PSG because they've been scintillating since, you know, January signing, you know, Kvaratskhelia coming in from, you know, Napoli, and he's been absolutely phenomenal for them. This is why I say, like, sometimes you've got to throw your plan out the window and get a player when the market opportunity arises. A lot of people are saying there, but we can't spend 90 million. He's not the player that we were looking at. Doesn't matter. When a player of that quality comes up, you've got to rival these teams. And look at what PSG did. They weren't that good before January. I'm not going to sit here and say they were poor, but in the Champions League, you see it, they had to go into the playoffs. You know, they weren't the favourites before January, and then all of a sudden they started playing this scintillating football. Obviously, the Liverpool performance, then what they did to us as well. You know, there's an argument to be made. Are they the favourites for the final? But obviously, we won't get into that topic at the moment. But I'm proud and I'm disappointed. I'll say that.
You still Arteta in?
Yes, one more season. Actually, one more summer. Summer only, and after that, ask me. Because if they do the Fugazi thing of still neglecting what we need, like not getting a striker, not getting the left winger, you know, not getting I know Zubimendi has been confirmed in a way, but if they start neglecting it, then I have to sit there and go, last summer, they didn't really back the manager and they only brought in 2 signings. This summer, we're left disappointed and left underhanded again. It's like, do the club truly believe in him? Or is it the case of some of the people being right where even the Cronkies are a problem, and are they settling for top 4? And I think bigger questions will come from this transfer window. And if they sit there and go, do you know what, we're not going to have the window we're expecting, and they actually disappoint us again, then this whole project's fake. Like, there's no point backing any of it, like including the owners. At that point, the owners have to also be, you know, regarded, because are you going for top 4 or are you looking to win the league?
Yeah, listen, people, big up everybody that joined us, of course, from Don Osam. With that, Osam is going to join us. He's here. He's just coming back. He just finished his stream. Big up everybody that is here. Hit that like button. Over 300 people in the house. And we're just starting people. We're talking everything Arsenal, everything Spurs. You consider this project done, Deji, for Arsenal?
Yeah, it's been done a long time. I mean, let's just qualify, because I was just listening to our friend here, and I had to in silent. First and foremost, there is no Arsenal fan at the beginning of the season that expected this team to get to where they got to. This kind of attitude where they are starting to run before they were walking. Look, you shouldn't have beaten Madrid. You did well to beat Madrid. And you were the weakest link in the last four. You know, just be grateful that you had a run in the Champions League is how I see it. Because you hadn't done the business, you hadn't done what was required at the time for you to kick on. Now, it's all well and good being linked with Gyokeres. There's all well and good being linked with Zubimendi now. But it's too little, too late. Too many years have gone by. 6 seasons. 6 seasons. It's pathetic. And the way that Arsenal fell out of this Champions League without a whimper, you know what I mean, without a fight, for me, it doesn't really matter what Arteta does this summer. Arsenal are done. And I suspect that the likes of Saliba, the likes of Saka are starting to look around the dressing room and say, how long have we got to put up with this crap for? For me, even if you bring in Zubimendi, you bring in your striker, there's no guarantee that they're Premiership quality. There's no guarantee that they're going to kick on and have...
But there are no guarantees in any signing, Deji. There are no guarantees in any signing.
But what I'm trying to say is Arsenal are doing that thing. Arsenal fans are doing that thing. As soon as they're linked with the player, they're shaking their bum violently. And I'm saying, what for?
No. They're not linked to Zubimendi. The Zubimendi deal was a here we go by Fabrizio Romano.
I know it's confirmed.
Yes.
There's no guarantee. What? So where is he going to play?
What do you mean? He's going to play in the middle.
So Partey is not going to be there, no?
No, he's going to be
there. He's getting relegated to the bench, yeah.
Partey?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because he's been your best midfielder for years.
Don't get fooled by the paying for a contract. No. Don't get fooled by the paying for a contract. The guy can't stay fit.
By the way, Deji's spitting. He's definitely been Arsenal's best midfielder.
No, who cares? Who cares if he's always injured? He's done it one season.
But he wasn't injured this season.
Good for him. One season out of what?
He's fit.
Are you really going to be? Are you going to be fooled by a player being fit for one season? No. By the way, you can go and check. No one is questioning his ability. No one is saying he's a shit footballer. That's why we got to get rid. Even with Kieran Tierney, no one wants to get rid of Tierney because he's a bad footballer. We're saying because of the injury record and the unreliability of a player, you have to sometimes cut loose. It's not like he's a 24-year-old, but okay, cool, he can recover, get fit, blah blah blah. He's 31. Like at some point, like when do you think he's gonna have a
31 is
31? Why you act like he's 40? 31 is still 3 more years.
31 is nothing for a midfielder.
Yeah, like that's 3 more years of consistent football he could play.
No, but I hear him. It's good that Arsenal have options. Zubimendi, Partey, Rice, Odegaard. It's good that they have options. And I actually think he will replace Odegaard at some point if Thomas Partey plays well.
He cannot replace Odegaard.
He can't.
It's not the same kind of position.
But Odegaard has not. We're not gonna go there. Has not played as a 10.
So you think Arteta's gonna bench his captain?
Well, he might. He has to.
You wanna know why? Deji asks the interesting questions that no one wants to answer. No one. If you ask me right now, Hussam, you're gonna sign Adam Wharton tomorrow. Who goes to the bench? I'll tell you directly. Soboslai going to the bench. Done. Easy. No problem. Question answered. Move on. You know the problem? Everyone fit at the start of the season, game week 1. Who's the starting 3? Yalla, tell me.
Odegaard. What do you mean? Say that again.
So, game week 1, Premier League about to start right now. Who's the starting 3 in midfield?
With Zubimendi in?
Yes.
Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard.
No way.
Really? So you're gonna bench Partey?
Yes.
So who's the starting midfield for you then?
I'm not saying who I think. I don't know.
I want you to. You ask me
because you're talking about Partey. Like Partey is this average guy. He's been
the main man. Every Arsenal fan that I spoke to said that in the PSG game first leg, the reason why you lost is Partey.
Because Partey wasn't there.
Been there, Dembele doesn't
But it was
score
also
that
the reason we
goal.
lost the
And
second.
you're telling me that he goes onto the bench for Zubimendi? This is why you guys will constantly remain botless. You're not serious. You will never get over the line because all your decision making, fans or management, doesn't make sense.
Hold
Do
on,
you
so what
want
did
to
you,
win
what
or
did you
not?
want them to? What did you want them to do? They went
Forget
and
what
got
you want them.
Zubimendi,
The Arsenal fans
I
cannot
want-
answer this
I
question.
want Arsenal to fight.
but
I
they
want
are
them to
fighting.
fight
Getting
and stop
Zubimendi and
being
Gyokeres is a
botless.
fight.
No,
So, okay,
I want them to
getting
stop being botless.
okay, getting Zubimendi and Gyokeres is a fight. That is them fighting to get. How?
I don't think so.
Liverpool
else?
wanted him.
That's what I'm
Real
asking you,
Madrid
Mo.
wanted it, and
What
you're
makes
telling
you
me that.
think that's a fight? Because you're acting as if they're gonna come into the team and actually cook.
No, but they can do. You can do only what you can
Zubimendi
do.
got
Like
destroyed by United midfield.
okay,
by the way.
you know, and he just got destroyed 4-0 by Spurs today. But hold on,
Yeah, and
Sam, are you saying Zubimendi is not good today?
He got
you
subbed
shake
off.
it?
He got subbed off.
Weren't you saying Zubimendi last year, Zubi,
He
and all
got
this stuff?
subbed off. That's Craig, not me. But he got subbed off.
So you weren't in for Zubimendi last year?
That has nothing to do with the conversation we're having right now.
But them signing a top player like Zubimendi to strengthen
Is
the
Zubimendi
midfield.
as things stand better than Partey?
That's what
Say
I
yes,
want
I
to
dare
know.
you.
No, I haven't watched
Okay.
enough of him.
They
to
So
said
say
no.
that.
why
they've
would
got different
Partey
skill
hold
set.
bench for Zubimendi then?
But that's options though. He can replace Rice. He can replace
Options is a
Odegaard.
different thing. I'm asking you, game week 1, Premier League just started. Who's the starting 3? Very
Because
obvious
they're
question.
gonna, he's
Let's
gonna
say
change the way he
Party,
plays.
okay. Party, Odegaard, Rice. Okay, fine. So having Zubimendi on the bench, that is a fight.
Zubimendi is like the Jorginho replacement, basically.
Maybe.
And
So
what
Saturday
happens
is
to
about
and
Jorginho
just
replacement?
forgive me, I can always say his name wrong. Mourinho, what's his role?
Merino is
top man.
there.
Mourinho, what's that? What is his position?
So Merino,
I'm not getting
Odegaard,
it.
Zubimendi, Rice, Party. That's not a good midfield.
I'm just on this. It's for me.
I am
and
trying to
there was a
understand your logic though.
There was a comment in the chat. It does feel like Arsenal are just going defensive. So what? Now we're just getting defensive midfielders. Is that
Zubimendi
what
is not a defensive guy.
So what is
He's-
Zubimendi? What was position? But you just said that Zubimendi is there to replace Partey. Partey is
Yeah, but I don't think you understand the point
just
here.
because you're
Hold
a
on.
defensive midfielder does not mean you're a defensive
Frankie
player.
de Jong is a defensive midfielder, but he's not a defensive player. He's a very offensive player.
Okay.
Like football-wise, you know the drill. Like Zubimendi can be there to be an offensive player, not a defensive midfielder in terms of like Makaleli style.
But from your understanding, Mo, because you've got good football knowledge, and my learned friend here, the Arsenal fan. What position is Zubimendi coming to play at Arsenal? Simple.
Position-based football for Thomas Partey. He's better on the ball than Thomas Partey.
And he's a better duel winner as well. He's more aggressive.
Than Partey.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I watched the guy week.
So what do you guys?
I
don't
am on the
understand.
league.
Why do you guys? What do you guys want Arsenal to do then? I don't understand it. What do people want Arsenal to do?
I'm saying
Like surrender.
I'm saying to you, I don't know what Arsenal are going to do.
Okay, so if I say Gyokeres plays over Havertz, you're gonna be mad at that as well. I don't get it. Like, just because a player does well for us doesn't mean that another player can't come in and relegate them. Same with Odegaard. Odegaard can hold the bench if we go get a better player.
Bro, what I'm trying to show you, bro, is that I want your team and your club to be competitive again. Aren't you tired of just being in the wilderness?
They are competitive. They just reached a Champions League semi-final.
That's not competitive, bro. Because
it's very competitive. Are Barcelona competitive?
Every Arsenal fan told me it's about winning trophies. Remember, Mo, even you tried to persuade me early this season that it's about winning trophies. There is nothing that I've seen from this Arsenal team to suggest that they are truly about winning trophies. This season, we've seen the flop, and next season. That's what I'm asking you. I cannot see.
Okay, if I go off an isolated incident, I've seen nothing from City to say they're competitive this season. Was that going to be the future for them as well? No. Things change. You have a bad season. Liverpool have had it as well. They won a Premier League and they drop off the next season.
So have you had a bad season?
Doesn't mean they can't be competitive or they can't turn that around.
Have you had a bad season?
Yes. I think we've all Arsenal fans can sit here and say we've had a disappointing season.
Not
I don't
all,
think.
trust me.
All right,
But you
maybe not
still
all.
keep
Maybe
us-
you've got the
you
few
still-
exception, but I'm talking the majority of the fan base have said it's been a disappointing season.
But
Yes,
you
we've
still
had
keep us
moments
at-
of things that we can be happy with, but that doesn't mean that that it's not been a disappointing overall season.
Okay.
It's a disappointing season because they didn't win the league. They got out of the Champions League semi-final. It is a disappointing season, but there is context to it, right?
Context.
We've had about 7 key injuries.
No, let's not go.
No,
there.
here we go. Here we go.
We're not gonna do that.
Here we go.
You're not
What do you mean
doing
you're
it.
not gonna do this? That is actually reality.
Here we go.
You can't-
You can.
Okay.
okay,
There
Pep
are,
is just
there
shit,
are other
then, innit?
teams in the
I
Prem
can explain
that
this,
suffered
Dej.
double those injuries, and they don't even mention it.
Okay, hold on. There is context to it. They had injuries. Did they plan bad? Absolutely, they did plan bad. Absolutely. Having Kivior as a backup for Gabriel, not having a backup for Saka, not having a right striker. You can criticize that, of course. They planned bad, right? But in the same time, you say that they had injuries. I'm going to give you an example. Liverpool didn't sign a backup for Salah this season at all. They just didn't. That's facts. They signed Chiesa as a backup for Salah. If in the beginning of the season or midway through the season, Salah, after this season, was injured, are we going to say that Liverpool dropped off because Salah got injured? Yes. Are we going to blame them for not signing a backup for Salah? Yes. Both things can be right at the same time. Like the reason why Arsenal dropped off this season, yes, there is a factor. of
Liverpool
Arteta.
had more injuries than Arsenal last year, and way worse VAR decisions go against us. We won a Carabao Cup, and the points tally that we had last year, Arsenal cannot finish that even if they win.
Why
the 3
don't you
games.
talk about this season? Do you think this season, if Salah got injured, we're not going to
So
have
he just
context
used the
for
injury
Liverpool?
excuse. I brought him to a season where we had the injuries.
And he
Well,
didn't win the
that's-
league at the end.
Well,
He didn't win the league or the Champions League.
That's not what I said.
Did you?
Not what I said.
Did you
See,
win the
you're
league or the
arguing something
Champions League?
You're arguing something I
I'm
did
not
not
following.
argue.
Go ahead.
If Arsenal win
No, but-
their next, if Arsenal win their next 3 games, their next 3, okay, next 3 games, they're going to be on what's 67 plus 9. They're going to be on 76 points. If they win their next 3 games, Liverpool last season with the injuries and the VAR decisions finished on 82 points and won a Carabao Cup. Me and
The
you have had
Carabao
this
Cup
conversation about the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup 100 times, and I told you it's not success alone, but it softens the blow. So
It
if
doesn't
these
for
guys
me,
at
to
least
be
won
honest
the
with you.
Carabao Cup or won the FA Cup, they will be sat here going like, okay, at least we won something. At least we left the season with something. Now they've left the season with nothing. And they didn't perform better than lucky Liverpool. Hear that? Get what I'm saying? Liverpool are lucky this year that Arsenal got injuries and they won. Okay, why didn't you? Didn't even
Did I
do
cry
better.
about the injuries? I'm
You-
just saying that's
You
part
did not
of a
even
reason
do
why.
better than the unlucky with injuries Liverpool last season. Imagine.
So are we just not meant to discuss anything then? Are we just going to say, yeah, we had a disappointing season? Why? I can't give you a reason.
Why? Because of the manager? Because of the players not performing? That's why you had a disappointing season.
Yes,
Because
but
of your
injuries
players
are
having
also
shit
part of it.
games?
You can't- yeah. Yes, well, that's all true. But doesn't mean an injuries can't be part of it.
Injuries
Look,
is 5% reason. Even if 5%.
No, there's a huge, like Saka being out for 3-4 months definitely does hamper us. That's bad.
He was out
preparation.
for 8 Premier League games.
Still hampers us. That's a big
Eight
part of our
Premier
team. It is Saka
Yeah,
FC. The
ridiculous.
same way Salah goes out, you probably drop a significant amount of points.
Here we go. Okay, last season, watch this. Watch, I'm going to destroy your argument in one game. Last season, we drew with Manchester City 1-1 at home. Okay? This is the. I'm going to read you the City lineup.
We beat City without
Wait,
Saka, by the way.
Habibi,
That's what you're going to
Habibi,
about.
wait,
We beat
wait,
them already.
wait. I'm talking
Okay.
about City from last season. You're not listening. This is the
No,
team they
this season, we
fielded.
beat them last season. without
Ederson,
Saka.
Walker, Ake Akanji, Stones, Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Haaland, Julian Alvarez, Phil Foden. Listen, completely full team. This is Liverpool's team against Manchester City at Anfield. Kelleher, Gomez, Van Dijk, Kwanzaa, Connor Bradley, Endo, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Diaz, Nunes, Elliott, right wing. In that game, just so you know, let me give you the statistics of that game. Liverpool had more possession, more shots on target, more touches, more passes, more tackles, more clearances, more corners, more everything.
Hussam, we could go back
With
for bad
that
on this.
team,
We beat Man
With
City
our
without
best
Saka as
player
well.
out, since you want to talk about
And a few
Salah,
of the players
Salah,
out as well.
Our best player was out. and we still
We've
dominated.
also done that. We've done it with our
No, you have not done.
best player.
No, you
As I
have
said,
not
yes,
done
we
that
did. We beat
because you
them
have had
2-1.
many games where
beat
you
them
were not
2-1.
better.
No. We
many games-
beat City 2-1 with our
The
Saka.
game against
We can
West
go
Ham.
ban for ban.
Explain the game against West Ham. 1-0 lost to West Ham.
Forget that, because you want to
Explain.
bring a City example into this, right? We've also done that. An isolated game can be won without your best player. But over a season, your best player is going to win you games, like the West Ham game, like those other games. Your best players are going to do it. If you have injuries to your Martin Odegaard, your Gabriel Magalhaes, it is going to impact you. There is no getting away from it.
Can I say something factually? Can I say something factually?
I am not saying
No, but
that's
he is
the sole
getting away with
reason
it.
why.
No.
That's
But can I
also
say
not the
something that
reason why.
factually Osam said wrong? Salah last season missed 6 Premier League games. Saka missed 13 due to hamstring injury this season and thigh injury. 13. That's more than double. Arsenal this season have been relying so much on Saka. There is no denying that Mikel
Go
Arteta.
to the rest of the injuries.
That's Mikel Arteta factually has not played good football this season, right? But also he's reliant on Bukayo Saka. And Bukayo Saka being injured hindered all his plan because he didn't plan for Bukayo Saka's injury. He didn't plan for it. He didn't buy a backup for it. Until he realized that Nwaneri can play there, he was like, I don't think it was good. Nwaneri performed in 2 good games. You have to say that Arteta this season has relied so much on Saka, and he was. If Saka was fit, I'm not thinking that they were going to win the league, but Saka was fit. If he was fit, at least they would have put in a challenge.
Okay, Liverpool injuries last year. Salah, Nunes, Soboslai, Gravenberch, Endo, Alisson, Curtis Jones, Trent, Jota, Thiago, Bajcetic, Matip. All injured.
And you didn't
Once
win the
again,
league at the end.
Can I
You
even go
didn't win the
one
league at
I'm
the
not
end.
talking about winning the league. You're missing the point completely.
You
And you're
didn't
trying
win the
to
league.
rattle me for no reason.
Wallahi, I'm
Everyone
not.
understands what I'm saying, but you're just trying to annoy me.
If you won the
I'm not
league last season with these
talking-
injuries, I would have said yes, but you didn't even win the league.
He keeps saying you did not win the league. I've said 5 times that's not my point, and he still misses the point. I'm not talking about us winning the league. I'm saying that team, with all those players out, ended last season on a higher points tally than Arsenal will this year,
but every
even if
season's
they win
different.
their
You
next
can't
3
compare
games.
Number one, there is
And-
a fact that you're forgetting. You have a bit. Number one, there is something that you guys are forgetting. Jurgen Klopp is levels above Mikel Arteta. That is something that you guys.
Oh, so now we're touching on what really needs to be blamed.
Aha. Okay, hold on.
Oh, now we're talking
Okay, hold on.
football. Finally. Oh,
Jurgen
I'm getting
Klopp
it.
has more.
Why did
But
Saka
that is the
bring?
thing.
Why did Saka play against Preston and Derby in the
Yes.
Carabao Cup
Now
in
you're
the 6th round?
talking. So
Why?
if you want to blame the injuries on Mikel Arteta, that is completely fine. I will be with you. He overplayed Saka. If he had Nwaneri, by the way, and he realized that Nwaneri earlier this season can play right wing, he could have rotated between them. And hold on, Deji. The number 2, he didn't need to sign Calafiori if he knew that there is a young player called Maizos Kelly that can play left back, and that 40 million that is spent on Calafiori would have been spent on a striker. But because Arteta, now we're talking. See, I'm not only saying that Arsenal are good, but because Mikel Arteta was so obsessed with Cisco, right, this whole summer, he didn't even want to even try to sign another striker because they could have went and signed a Gyokeres, but they chose to sign Cisco. Even in January, they chose to wait for Cisco in the summer until Berta came in and said, fuck the Cisco deal, we're going for Gyokeres. Fuck the project players, we're going for Gyokeres. The reality is, Arteta and Edu failed to plan for the squad. They failed in rebuilding, in building the squad the right way to actually compensate for injuries and players not dropping forms. They assumed, Sam, they assumed that Kai Havertz will replicate. I remember me and Osam doing a lot of streams with Arteta. Why do we need a starting striker? Kai Havertz scored 14 goals. He will replicate
Gyokeres
this.
will be on the bench for Havertz.
Yeah.
Was said on this
Like-
channel.
Why do we need with Cisco? If Cisco comes in, he's going to be the backup for Havertz and he's going to have to prove himself. Now, Kai Havertz didn't replicate fucking last season. What did you do? You stayed still and you waited. That is reality, though. That is reality. That I can agree with you. We can blame Arteta, Edu, fucking Kroenke and all of this. But to say that the injuries are not the reason why they dropped during the season, now the summer window ended and the injuries hindered their everything, that is the reality.
No, it's not, because even with their players 5th, they're still dropping points.
DJ, let me read these 2 super chats. Big up, Donny. He's joining a team with no pressure. Liverpool and Madrid, too big. We win stuff, and he has a weak mentality. He's talking about Zubimendi. I don't know why would he join Arsenal over Liverpool. To be honest, I have no idea. But
If he rejected us last summer and this year he joined City or Madrid, I understand. But you say no to Liverpool and then join Arsenal, it makes no sense, wallahi. And he would have started at Liverpool guaranteed, by the way. You know this.
But I'm going to tell you the difference. He actually didn't trust Arne Slot last season, and it was a mistake. He should have joined.
Yeah, should have joined.
Like, he should have joined Liverpool, to be honest with you. He could have won the Premier League. And I believe that Liverpool would have been better against PSG with a player like him in the middle.
Yes, because
it's
Zubimendi would have handled like Vitinha, blah, blah,
the
blah.
position-based football of PSG. So, yeah, the reality. Thank you, Donny. Richardson, can you guys name me any job in the world where you can fail at your responsibilities for 5 consecutive years and not get fired? You can't. Sack Arteta. The response, Souls.
Oh, we don't actually know what the internal objectives for him are. Maybe he is doing what he needs to do. We don't actually know. It's a fan's expectation that he needs to win. Maybe it's not the internal expectation. And also, what people also forget is he didn't join a thriving team. He didn't join a thriving club. We were toxic as hell when he joined. So he has to rebuild. There has to be a period of grace. You're seeing it at United right now, where because they're chopping and changing their managers, they're not finding consistency. Cool, they won in the back-to-back trophies, but they're not happy with their position. They're not happy with like where the club is going. They're all fighting within themselves. They're whether Ineos is right or not. The Glazers need to go. At least right now, yes, it can go toxic if he continues to do this and if it goes beyond next season. But at the moment, we're in a period of stability where players do want to join us. As much as people may rate or not rate those signings, we're getting someone like Gyokeres, for example. We may be going and getting an Alexander Isak. We might be having an all-time window. And if those kinds of players come in, why am I going to get rid of a manager who has that pull? Why are they coming to us? Are they all losers? Clearly not.
Deji.
Yeah, look, I am struggling with this conversation this evening. Look, let's be honest here. I would say Arsenal fans are getting soft, and unfortunately, my brother, you're one of them. And let me explain why. You mean to tell me? Remember, every Arsenal fan talks about the fact that it's about a trophy. I've spoken to Arsenal fans up and down, in fact, around the world because of this lovely platform called YouTube. And they've all said, we need to get a trophy. Yeah? And are you about to tell me, because Saka missed a run of games, you couldn't win a Carabao Cup? You couldn't win an FA Cup? Forget the league. Let's talk about some of the more, obtainable cup competitions. You were never in them. You were never involved. And like I keep saying to you, and I keep saying back, you're telling us you've made some changes backstage, blah, de, blah, de, blah, this and that. I'm telling you, this is what you do. You flatter to deceive. We get a lot of hot air. We are rattled with the fan base, the mouth, the shaking of bums. Everyone's excited. And in the end, you don't do nothing. Do you accept that under Arteta, you might not win anything? Is that not acceptable? And when will it be enough? Because for me, you have to hold the fact that my club, under Postecoglou, whether we've done well in the league or not,
with way more injuries, by the way, way more injuries.
Thank you. We are in a final. We could be joining you in the Champions League, and we could be winning a trophy. So for me, if Tottenham can do that, with less resources, with an inferior manager, what the hell are you talking about? Sorry, guys. What the hell are we talking about here? What, Saka? What about Martinelli? What about Trossard? What about Havertz? What about all these other guys that we were told to do you know what I'm saying? So for me,
Havertz has also been injured. So
what I'm trying to say is,
Havertz has been injured.
No, but if you want to mention a player, you can't cry if I respond here. He was also injured.
Habibi, the whole Spurs team is injured.
What I'm saying, bro.
Again, that's not the point I'm making. He's mentioned Havertz.
That's Deji's point. Not a single Spurs player is fit the whole season, by the way. Not one even.
Yeah, good for them. They're going to win a Europa League. Good for them. We're in different places.
But can you see the difference in standards? I'm not talking about that. Because regardless of that,
but Arsenal aren't in Europa League because they are better than Spurs.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we can't dip
Mo,
into it anymore.
No.
I'm gonna ask you a
That's
question,
factually.
Yeah, but we also
Arsenal,
can't dip into it.
Arsenal don't
Unfortunately,
play in
Champions League
Europa
teams
League
can't
because
drop
they're
into it.
better than
Can I
Spurs.
ask Mo a question?
Yes.
Because Mo is a secret Arsenal supporter in disguise.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
If Tottenham wins the Europa League, who had a better season?
Spurs.
Now, let Mo answer this question because he's the one who's become the defender of the galaxy.
Trophy.
Who's had a better season?
You've won a trophy. You've won a Europa League.
So,
Yes.
why are you telling me about the grade of trophy then?
Oh, there are grades of trophy. Oh, do you
No,
want to
but
know
why
the
are
grades of
you
trophy?
telling me about the grade of trophy?
Because there are grades of trophies. Because there are.
But at the same time, you're telling me if Tottenham win the Europa League, they've had a better season than us.
No. But there are There are grades of trophies. Okay, in my opinion, if you win Europa League, yes, you have won a trophy. But are you better than Arsenal? I'm gonna ask you this. Okay.
Yes.
See, there is a difference between you have had a better trophy. Okay, let me tell you something. If Crystal Palace win the FA Cup, they have a better season than Arsenal. But are they better than Arsenal? Would Arsenal hold on. If Arsenal start the season, okay, season is over, Spurs had a better season, all right? Next season, start of the season, would Arsenal swap places with Spurs? No. Would Spurs swap places with Arsenal because Arsenal are better? Unless, Deji, you think the Spurs are a better team than Arsenal because they won Europa League. You answer me this.
Yes, I do. And
really,
the question,
you
the
think?
Question is,
oh my God!
The question is, and if bro, sorry, what's your name?
I'll take it better. Hussam is the one that opened my eye. Hussam is the one who opened my eye on this. He told me yesterday that even though Liverpool at some point finished behind Newcastle and Man United, and Man United that season won an FA Cup, he said that at the end of the season, everything is finished and done. Yes, Man United have won a cup. Liverpool wouldn't swap places with Man United because the season after, Liverpool went to fucking challenge for the fucking title. We have to admit this because Liverpool, even though they finished fifth, they're still better than United, who won a cup and finished third. That's a fact. So because it showed the season after.
No, I hear you, but let's ask Arsenal fans now. Would they rather win the Europa League this season? We don't need to go as far as next season. Would they swap places with Spurs this season? The majority of Arsenal fans would say yes. No, because they won a trophy. They won a trophy.
No. So okay. So which one is it? So a lot of them are going to be hypocrites then by their own standard, because you can't be standard FC and then say drop down. Because if we're going to sit here and say if Manchester City can win a Europa League, they're going to do it. No, you're going to be questioning what the fuck went wrong with Manchester City for them to be in the Europa League. You're going to ask the same question: what went wrong this season for Arsenal to be in the Europa League? What went wrong with Mikel Arteta to drop down to 5th or 6th? For him to not qualify for the Champions League. The narrative will not be that they won a Europa League.
So,
that's bullshit. Let's not absolutely. Okay, at the end of the season, we still have 1 second, Edgy. At the end of the season, right, we still have a possibility to drop into a Europa League position in the league. Are you going to sit there and go, well, actually, that guarantees them to go win a Europa League? So cool, it's good that they finished 7th. Are you going to say that? Are you going to congratulate Arteta for being smart and going, actually, can win a Europa League?
I hear you, but the question I want to ask is, look, I agree with you, but I've spent a season.
No, he's not, because Arteta was in the Europa, got knocked out by Sporting Lisbon, so it's not the same.
I've spent a season being told otherwise. The question that I have for you is this: then why are Arsenal fans so up in arms at the possibility that Spurs could win this Europa League title?
Look. You winning a trophy is still winning a trophy.
Why.
I'm not going to downplay the Europa League like many people have, right? But what I'm saying is there's still levels to clubs and where they should be. For you guys at the moment, you're building your way back up. So you being in the Europa League isn't a questionable thing in the league standings at the moment. Yes, if, for example, that Harry Kane team, under Poch, right, dropped into the Europa League, there's questions to be asked, like what went wrong for you to do that? Like the same with Man City. If Man City drop down into Europa League, you're questioning that. It's not about dismissing the trophy. It's just that's your level at the moment, and that's not disrespecting your club or your team.
Can I tell you the narrative? So I'm hearing from Arsenal fans, Tottenham get Champions League football, they join us. But more importantly, Tottenham would have picked up a credible trophy before us.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the point I've been trying to make.
But Arsenal wouldn't swap teams, though.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay, but Deji,
but no one is saying swap teams. You're changing the debate. First of all, this whole like Spurs' level is Europa League. Okay, Spurs are 17th. Spurs are 17th, and they're in a Europa League final. Perfect. Arsenal were 5th and not in a Europa League final. Arsenal were in 2nd and not in a Europa League final. So what's the excuse?
But I'm not discrediting what they're doing. All I'm saying is when you're going through like a rebuild, when you're trying to get back to where you need to be, Spurs are not like as a club or as an institution, they might not be a Europa League level. They should be fighting for those Champions League spots. We know that. But yes, they're going through this sort of transition period under Ange, whether it is going to continue with them or not. The reality of the matter is them not being in the Champions League isn't going to get questioned. The same with United because they're going through a transition as well. You're not going to question that it went horribly wrong because they finished 6th or whatever it is for Europa League. But what you are going to do, the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Man City, the likes of Arsenal at the moment, you are going to question why they were even in the Euro. Okay, let's take another context.
Do you know what? I'm going
to give one more scenario, right? If Arsenal drop into the Conference League and we go on to win it, are you going to credit Arsenal for winning it, or are you going to question the fact, what the fuck were they doing there in the first place? They had no right to be in it. They should have been way higher in the table in our current position.
You're going to be better than Arsenal, but you still want your manager sacked. That says a lot.
Yeah, and no, it does actually, Mo, and I'm glad that you picked that up.
It says a lot about how you view your season. You had a better season than Arsenal. You want to sack your manager.
Why are you gaslighting? Because many Arsenal fans want to.
And can I just say something, Mo? I'm glad that you raised that.
No. It's just for Spurs. It's just for Spurs.
No, I'm glad that you raised that point because I think that's the underlying thing that we haven't talked about this evening.
Yeah.
What we are really talking about is having standards for our club. It looks like Arsenal standards have fallen off.
Yeah, I mean, what standards? You haven't seen your team win a trophy in like years, bro.
My club has got standards that we are talking about. Tottenham winning the trophy in the first time in 17 years and still getting rid of the manager. That is standards. That's what Chelsea was doing.
You got smashed out. Your team won one game. Deji, your team won one game. Standards. Your ownership. Your ownership. I've seen your manager win one game at home in 10. And he still walked out of the tunnel the next game. Talk about the manager.
If a manager wins a decent trophy like a Europa League and loses his job, is that not standards? Didn't we see similar things at Chelsea? Didn't we see similar things?
No, you know what? It says how bad his management has been at Spurs. It doesn't say anything about standards. Because if you finished 8th and you won a Europa League or 9th and you won a Europa League, you would have kept him. You're 16th. You're 16th. We're 17th.
You're my bro. You know about this. Let me give you another standard. Do you think Tottenham would have kept Arteta for 6 seasons?
Yes.
No.
Actually. If he challenges, you literally kept watch for 5 years challenging and never won.
I don't think we look.
I think
we actually listen. There is no Deji. There is no if here. There is no. Hold on, Hossam. Deji, there is no if here. There is no if. We're not playing the if game. That already happened with Pochettino. Like there is no if.
All right.
Like, do you think?
Deji, who's the biggest problem at Spurs? Daniel Levy, right?
Yeah, we know that.
So if you give Daniel Levy consistent Champions League football, he ain't saying no. Let's all be honest here.
I hear that, but what I will say though, there has to come a point where you start to get itchy fingers. And decisions need to be made. And the question I'm asking...
They aren't getting itchy thing because he's still signing, what's his name, the youngster, Odebe, what's his name, the young guy, the very good midfielder that you signed. You signed the young player in, what's his name? That's the Archie Gray. You still, your ownership have not changed. They're still going for project players. They're still managing finances.
I agree.
I won't agree with you until I see it with my own eyes.
Well, let's win the Europa League first. You guys have always told me that winning a trophy brings a winning mentality, correct?
Not
Yeah,
to,
it does.
yes.
It does.
Yeah. So let's see if after winning the Europa League, whether that brings a winning mentality where Tottenham go out and get, for me, some serious players. We need the I would love to see this summer Eze come to my club. You know, Adam Walton come to my club. I wouldn't mind even seeing a Semenyo. I don't need the big top players. We're not gonna go for an Isak like Arsenal. I just need to see half decent players at my club for me to feel like we're going in the right direction. And the likes of Eze would be a marquee signing. We buy Eze in the summer, then Spurs, for me, we can't banter my club. It's serious business. Maybe this season was about bringing in some youngsters, but we've been told that moving forward, we are going to bring in Premiership proven players. And if we win the Europa League, let's see if that's done. If that isn't done, then respect to all of you on the panel.
I'm telling you from now.
I've been cooked, but I have not been cooked yet.
I am telling you from now, your status as a top 6 club is finished.
It's not.
Newcastle are going to sign. Newcastle are going to sign Xavi Hernandez, and you're not. Within 3 years, Spurs are going to be the Everton of the of the 2000s. We're going to have something called the Spurs Cup, which is going to be the 6th or the 7th. I am telling you now, right? Newcastle are going for a top manager like Xavi Hernandez. Xavi Hernandez joining Newcastle, right? If Newcastle keep Isak and Gordon and get Xavi Hernandez, you are finished at a top 6 club. We are not going to speak about your top 6 club. When I grew up watching the Premier League, there was no Spurs. Pochettino made your club relevant. And you're now telling me that we have standards more than this and that.
So Mo, in my very best French impression, impossible. And the question I ask of you, Mo, is where do you see Arsenal going from here? Because
I am telling you.
Yeah,
let me tell you. I'm going to tell you.
If you're saying that about Tottenham, I can say the same for Arsenal.
I am okay. So for Arsenal, I can't back Arsenal anymore, right? Because I think Mikel Arteta, I can't back Arsenal in terms of winning trophy. I can't. There are 2 reasons for this. The way Arteta has sentimental values to some of the players that hurt you as management, that hurt Jurgen Klopp. All the Liverpool fans know this. Having sentimental value to your players above the club is really hurting you. Right, that happened to club with Fabinho.
Can I tell you something, Mo? Let's say they sign Gyokeres. Let's say they sign Gyokeres.
I'm just gonna.
And they're really amazing. And September comes, and Gyokeres has like a light injury, you know, like out for a month or something, and then they end up like drawing or losing like 4 or 5 games. Okay, I guarantee me right now that they won't use that as an excuse. Guarantee it, Mo. I dare you.
They want what?
Yeah, maybe they sign Gyokeres. They're like 1 point behind Man City, 1 point behind Liverpool. It's a tight title race, blah, blah, blah. Gyokeres out for a month. They draw 3 games, lose 3 games. I dare you tell me right now, guarantee me that they won't use that as an excuse. I dare you.
If Havertz is fit and they use that as an excuse, they're butlers.
There you go, then. There you go.
But you didn't let me finish. The problem with this, I think Arteta has this thing about some of the players. He's still like Odegaard should have been dropped in the last game. He kept him for 90 minutes. He didn't give a chance for Nwaneri, right? Like he had, I believe that the reason why Arsenal didn't sign a striker this summer after Cisco said that I'm staying is because he had a sentimental value for Kai Havertz and he wanted the Kai Havertz project to work so much. The reason why they didn't sign a left winger last summer because he thought Martinelli will get back to its form of 2 seasons ago. It was so relying on, oh, they're going to get back. We are together as a group. We love each other.
Well, he did try to sign Nico Williams, but yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, we did.
And by the way, I'm just going to tell you something. If one player says no, that doesn't mean that's the end of the world. There are other wingers around in the world that you could have signed.
No, but it's actually incorrect that we didn't try to sign players. We did. We did go for
no in the beginning.
Well, we still tried.
And Cisco said no in the beginning. And by the way, Nico Williams was still a project. By the way, when you started to sign Nico Williams last summer, he was still a project player. Like he isn't.
Yeah, like Nico Williams wouldn't have 100% made Arsenal
like,
league champion.
I'm gonna tell you who Who, if you went for this, I would have said you're 100%. If you went to Napoli and said, fuck me, 70 million, I want Kvaratskhelia. Like Paris Saint-Germain went to Napoli and someone said, we want Kvaratskhelia. They said, no, we're not selling. They went again in January and said, we want him again. And they signed him. That is a player that won already with Napoli, leading Napoli with Osimhen to a league. Nico Williams is good. He played for Spain. But he ain't Kvaratskhelia's level. Watch Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia went to PSG. Barcola on the bench. Desiree Doué on the bench. I'm starting here. No one is taking my place. He is now with Dembele, the bright shining star. Right? If Arsenal went for that signing, I would say, yes, Arteta abandoned that project player, reviving whatever thing, and went for ready-made players. Now with Berta, as you said, we saw Sesko to the bin. We're signing Gyokeres. You were signing other midfielders.
Mo, you've heard me say this
now.
I've said this before. The bigger thing is getting rid of Edu. For me, it doesn't really matter what manager you bring in. If you have an Edu who can't get things done and can't abandon his principles, you're never going to really win.
Sam's about to fucking lose it, but fine.
Yeah, that's fine. He can lose. I couldn't give a shit if he can lose it all he wants, because he knows having a good sporting director is vitally important to get players over the line. Now that we've got Andre Berta, you can see we're moving differently. He can say no to Arteta. He can turn around and go, you ain't getting your Kai Havertz. You ain't getting your Sesko. You ain't getting, even if it is a Nico Williams. I think if we had Berta in January, we would have rivaled PSG.
So can I tell you something for real? So why he doesn't do this for the manager?
Can I ask you a question as well?
Hold on, please, Osam. Wallah lazim. Do you think Arteta is still a project manager? Is still a project coach?
In what way do you mean?
Is Arteta established as a coach in the history in the world?
Oh no. He's fought.
Okay. Do you think Berta should sack Arteta and get an established manager?
No, I think he gives him a season.
Why?
The reason I say that is because when I look at the football, this is how I analyze football, so you can all disagree if you want. But I see it and I go, okay, if we had an actual striker in this team, could we improve? Yes. And can his football improve? Yes. We take more chances. Could we have gone through against PSG with the Gyokeres in that position, for example? I say the chance is 20 to 30%. Of course, it's all maybes, but I actually put more emphasis on that and going, actually, the likelihood is a lot more that we actually do things. So that's the way I look at football. And I actually see it and I go, okay. But like I said to you, man, I've said this before. If they do not address the attack this season, I'm done with this project, because that's
they're gonna address it. Okay, Souls.
Yeah,
they're gonna address the attack.
No, I know.
But we know Arsenal will sign a striker. You know.
No, but they can't just go sign a striker. They can't go sign another Kai Havertz, for example. They need to go sign and establish where, let's say 90%, because not every rival is going to agree. Someone's just going to banter. Right, 90% have to agree that this is a good signing. Right, and I'm not talking Arsenal fans because we hype everything up anyway. I'm talking like if we go and get a Gyokeres, a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, that's a very good acquisition. If we go get an Isak, no one's questioning that signing. Right, that's what I'm talking about. Like, like, as you just said, if Kvara came in, no one's questioning that. That's the level of player I'm looking for us to sign in the attack. Not these sort of like, okay, they might work. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Andre Berta will go against a lot of things to get the right players for the club and to move it forward. And we can see it, because he is abandoning principles in a lot of situations. That's what I said. Like, for me, Edu's too of a nicey nice, yes. Like, he'll accept whatever Arteta says kind of thing and not question the status quo. I don't think Andre, and he has, and that's why he had to leave Atletico Madrid, because he said to them, no, we ain't doing this, we're doing this. And that's why he left, because they got tension in the boardroom. And that's what I like about him personally.
Can I ask you a question? The summer that we signed McAllister, Szoboszlai, Granberg, Endo, who was the sporting director?
I don't know. I don't follow your club like
Club faction.
No, the sporting director. The sporting director was Jörg Schmatka. Would you take Jörg Schmatka at your club?
I'll have to do some research.
The scapegoating culture at Arsenal is never ending. It never ends. Kroenke out, Edu out, Havertz out, Jesus out, Zinchenko out, everyone out, except the one guy who's responsible for all of these things happening. Who's the reason why Jesus is an Arsenal player? Who's the reason why Zinchenko is an Arsenal player? Who's the reason why Calafiori is an Arsenal player? Who's the reason why Raheem Sterling is an Arsenal player? Who's the reason why all these players that they bought is an Arsenal player? Mikel Arteta. Who's the guy that has to say? Mikel Arteta.
Yeah,
who's the guy that's the manager?
Okay, why we no longer going for... Okay, let me ask you a question.
People acted like it was the owners that said no to signing in January. Okay, the transfer window hasn't even Transfer window hasn't been opened yet. You already have the
first.
first here we go, and it's a midfielder, not even a striker.
Okay, cool. But why are we no longer going for Benjamin Sesko?
You don't know that for a fact.
There's zero links to it.
No, there is literally links to Sesko still. If you fail at signing Gyokeres, I'm giving you an unrealistic scenario. Gyokeres wants to go play for Amarim. He wants to play for his former manager. He chooses Man United. Who are you gonna sign?
But that's not what's happening at the moment. If we're looking at the recent links, right, we're seeing Gyokeres and Isak being the two, not Sesko. Sesko's kind of dropped off the radar.
If Gyokeres does not work, you can sign Sesko. Me and you both know this.
If we don't, that's what I'm saying. Right now, as it currently stands, the question is direct. At the moment, it looks like they're going for Isak as a first priority, and then they're going to go get Gyokeres, or Gyokeres might be the guy that they go for. Why has Sesko gone down the pecking order if that's what Arteta's priority is?
We'll see. Listen, I wanted to ask Deji to get him involved. Deji, you said about Spurs winning Europa League. Do you think if you get rid of Ange and you get another manager after you win Europa League, do you think you can catch Arsenal in the league?
I don't see why not, to be honest. I think, and you know, Mo, did we expect to see Nottingham Forest in the top 3 for pretty much most of the season?
That's an outlier. Don't use the outlier.
But the thing is, the point I'm trying to make is last season Spurs finished 5th. Hussam would say that Spurs is in the top 3 of the most injuries, and if my friend here is talking about injuries to Arsenal being the reason why they didn't win the league, then I think it's fair to say that injuries.
It's not the only reason. It's not the
no,
only.
but I'm just saying that. But you said that the injury
is a reason. Yeah,
played a contrib.
It's the first thing you brought up.
But Tottenham pretty much had their whole squad decimated for most of the season. So
okay, cool, but that's not the only reason.
No centre back.
No, but you can drop off.
No
you can still drop off. But you guys have been absolutely shit in the league. Let's not.
We've
had.
Look, bro. Can you be careful? Can you be careful? You just came on this channel, on this show, and talked about your drop off for one player. Could you imagine?
It's not one player. Oh my day.
All right, who else? Who else wasn't playing?
Who haven't we? Martin Odegaard's been injured. Gabriel Magalhaes has been injured. Kaya Verse has been injured.
No, Magalhaes is recent.
Magalhaes is recent.
Okay,
recent,
even if you want to ignore that one, then yeah.
How long was Odegaard out?
We've had Ben White out. He's been needed.
Does Ben White start? If he's
yes,
fit?
He does. He has been.
Over who?
Well, Timber goes on to the left. That's how we've been playing. So at the beginning of the season, that is actually what we were playing.
But that's not you got Timber there.
This guy is a lawyer, isn't he? He's a lawyer. You know,
it's not about being a lawyer. That is what we were doing. Okay. Why did we play Thomas Partey at right back? Tell me, please. Why did we play Thomas and Timber was on the left? Why did we do that at the beginning of the season?
Can I give you Tottenham's equivalent of injuries?
No. Because you're questioning. Forget Spurs for a second. You're questioning. I'm giving you the answers. You don't like them. We've had injuries. Martin Odegaard's also been injured.
Keep going. Who else?
Yeah, Martin Odegaard's been injured. Kai Havertz has also been injured. Gabriel Jesus has been out. Calafiori's been out. Zinchenko's been out. We've had a lot of injuries as well that have impacted us. And by the way, that's not my excuse for the entire thing going wrong.
Bro,
it is bad preparation. It's also January.
Most of the players that
Marino was injured as well.
Bro, most of the players that you mentioned, even if they would fit, they wouldn't get on. If you had a full squad, you can't guarantee that Jesus.
Only Jesus and Zinchenko, that's it.
Now, can I give you the equivalent of what Tottenham lost? Can I do that?
Yeah, but you're 16.
For most of the season, we didn't have David.
Okay, let me ask you one question. Where did you expect to finish in the league? Where did you before coming into the season?
Finish top 3 if we had all of our players.
So why are you 16th or whatever you are?
That's too big of a
Let me explain. Yeah, way too big of a
if you had the following,
so why do you want to unsack them? Oh my God!
Just let me finish, please, Mo. Please let me finish. If you had the following players out for most of the season, so I'm talking about 85%. No David Raya, no Saliba, no Gabriel, no Timber, no whoever you have at left back, no Partey, no Rice, no Saka, no Havertz, no Odegaard. Where would Arsenal finish this season? Because that's what Tottenham lost. This pretty much for the whole season. Where would you finish? Where would you finish?
Not at the same time, though.
Yeah, we had them at the same time, bro. at the same time. All
Ange
of
is a
those players
genius.
were out at the
A
same
Europa
time.
League final, he
So where
stayed
would you
in the
finish?
league. He's a genius, wallah.
So can I say this? Despite that, Tottenham fans still ain't happy because we're saying, you know what? Even though you had all of those injuries, we should not be in 17th. We should not be a game away from 20 defeats. There is no way in hell Arsenal, with all those players out, is in the top 10. Never. We can see that. That's the point I'm trying to make, my bro. And we've gone through that, but I'm not using that. That's a factor. But the reason why we want Postecoglou out is even when the players came back, nothing changed. People say
Bingo. And even when the Arsenal players came back, can I mention an example when the whole team was fit? Fulham away, your whole team was fit. There were no controversies. Chelsea away, whole team was fit, no controversies. Everton at home, whole team fit, no controversies. There are other games I can bring up as well where you had the whole team fit, no controversies, and you still didn't end up winning the games that you're expected to win. Which is why, even if you had your team fit for the whole season, I still think we'd have won the league. That's just the truth of the matter. So I'm looking at this Arsenal side, and you know the reason why Deji, what he's saying is actually very real. Spurs centre-back partnership was Archie Gray and Kevin Danso.
Come on. Even before that,
Let's equate that to Arsenal. Imagine Arsenal starting centre-back partnership was Jorginho and like I don't know who the fuck else, like backup midfielder they have. Like that was literally their starting centre-back pairing. And on top of all that, Deji is still not happy with the manager. Imagine.
That's his choice, and he doesn't have to be. It doesn't mean that has to equate to me not being happy with mine.
No, of course not.
That's a fair point. Look, I hope for your sake that you guys go on and do something next season. But if you're gonna hold me to certain standards, then I'm gonna hold you guys to a certain standard.
But how about I don't have any expectations for you.
But I think it would be good for you guys to get a winning mentality and to win the Carabao Cup. Fair?
No one's disputing any of this, by the way.
No, I'm not saying it in a disparaging way. I'm saying, should Arsenal be going for a Carabao Cup next season?
We should be going for everything, yes.
But let's say realistically, it would be a good season.
100% we should be going for a Carabao Cup. I've said this season. I've said it the season before. I've said even when people are like, oh, I'd rather lose to Man City in the FA Cup, and I said no, because you've got to beat them at some point to get the mentality to go and win things. Like the reason why Pep Guardiola prioritized the Carabao Cup, when he first came in, is to get the team to believe they can win, and that's when you can get it over the line. At the beginning, every time he won the Carabao Cup, he went on to win the league. Like the one season he didn't win the Carabao Cup was from the Liverpool season when they went on to win the league. So it does play a factor, and I do believe the one trophy is the floodgates. I kind of equate it to a player like when going through a goal drought. As soon as they get that one goal, it opens the floodgates for them, and that's what this team needs. That team, because it's been so long, and this team didn't win that FA Cup, bar maybe Saka, but he was a bench player anyway. This team hasn't witnessed that yet. The minute they lift a trophy is my turning point. I think that's when it changes. And I do think, people can disagree giving him a season. Even I'm apprehensive whether I want to give him a season. That's what I'm saying. I want to see how the summer window goes. I know Mo keeps saying, but you are going to say, no, we don't know. Even Zubimendi, that guy's got no honor. Yeah, he can turn around in the 99th minute and go, nah, I ain't joining. We've seen this before. So until he doesn't play his first game, and I'm not even saying a friendly, he has to play his first Premier League game, and that's when I'll believe he signed for the club. Because that guy can turn around at any moment. Yeah? Then we need those players. And I do believe getting that is the end for Arteta at that point. If he can't then deliver something, anything, even like you said, even a Carabao Cup, that's the end of the road for me. I don't give a shit about the project. I don't care about anything. I think giving him a proper sporting director gives him zero excuses. And I think if Arsenal fans still make... And next season for me, by the way, Deji, is zero context. I don't care if the whole squad is injured. You've got to deliver.
Yeah.
That's my expectation.
That is standards. That is the standards that I'm...
So let me ask you something then, Souls. If Saka gets injured and Gyokeres gets injured in the beginning of the season...
I don't give a shit. That's not my problem next season.
Why there was excuses
I don't care. This season, because we've left ourselves short. And that's where I think Edu needed to go. Because you can't go and sign me Raheem Sterling. With all due respect, he might have done it in the Premier League. He might have been a great. He's past his time though. You know, you can't be doing that. You can't be getting me Moreno. You can't be going and getting me Calafiori and then saying to me that the manager should do his job at this point. But this season, the way it's looking to be, where we're looking to get a Nico Williams, whether you rate him or not, Gyokeres or an Isak, Zubimendi looking to come in. You know, these sort of players. At that point, there are no, and also you've got a proper sporting director who's looking to get shit done. Like the Saliba deal's looking to be signed, Saka deal looking to be signed, Ethan and MLS are looking to get signed to a new deal. It's looking like what's happening now is we're going to get everything before a pre-season. So there are no, like this season, even if he doesn't get the signings, this entire project, this entire whatever you want to call it, has no more excuses. You've had more than long enough. We can evidently see we need to get attackers and maybe a few of the players, but those few of the players are bonuses for me. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Just get me my attackers and we go next season.
Wow. Next season again.
That's last summer. Love it.
No, but that's it. Though. You won't hear that tone change. And I've said it. If in the summer we don't sign those attackers, I'm gone. I'm finished with this project.
Let me do these super chats before we go on. If I had a Liverpool manager coaching a multi-million to focus on long throws in the semi-final of a Champions League, he better be God. Why was he focused on long throws? Look, I don't understand. What was the plan?
I mean, it nearly worked twice. Like, we had the Martinelli, if he could actually flip and finish, that could have gone in. Rice had a moment early on. If that had gone in, you know, that could have changed the game as well. So it wasn't like it didn't work. It's just we can't finish shit. That was the issue. Look at Saka's opportunity right near the end of the game. The guy missed an open goal. You can't account for those things.
The Arsenal fan can downplay UEFA Cup because Arteta couldn't win that either.
Okay, go
hold on. Tony,
I've said a trophy is a trophy.
Tony, you don't think that if Arsenal this season or last season has been in Europa League, they would have won it or not, Tony? You're saying that, like, Arsenal, I actually think that Arsenal might have won Europa League this season if they have been in it. Arsenal haven't. There's no guarantees in football, bro. But if Man United and Spurs can reach Europa League final, Arsenal can. Just you can't tell me otherwise. Spurs is shit. Why are you laughing?
Mo, the reason why I'm laughing is because I think it's been a minute that me and you streamed, but I came up with a phrase called "spicy Spurs," because I'm able to accept that my team.
Hey, if you end up winning the Europa, it's not even spicy Spurs anymore. You're the
I don't think they are spicy Spurs.
Well, if we win the Europa League, we're no longer Spurs
now, no spice.
There's no spice.
Spicy Spurs is a better version of what.
Bro, if you win Europa League, you know that Spursy word is gone forever.
I know.
Forever is gone.
And I can't wait.
Like it's gone forever. I don't think anybody will dare to say Spursy again.
But I think with who I call the Red Tottenham, the Spicy Spurs, Scotch Bonnet FC, Red Hot Chili Peppers, they are Spurs, you know. That's why I cannot be sure that they would win a Europa League because they have been bottling season after season after season. Even this season is a disgrace. We don't talk about it much because Liverpool made light work of this league. But this is by far their worst season, in my opinion, because they should have been competing with Liverpool for the time. They didn't even be a competition.
We should have wiped the floor as soon as City dropped off.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So nobody can sit here with chest and say if Arsenal was in the Europa League, they would win it. Well, they are serial bottlers as well. I'm just saying.
Deji, how bad have Manchester City been this year? Very bad, right?
They've been absolutely.
Manchester City have one more win in the Premier League than Arsenal. Imagine.
It's crazy, and they've been absolutely crap, and they've lost.
And they've missed out on a Ballon d'Or winner, by the way. Ballon d'Or winner, and Haaland is injured as well.
Yeah,
and they've had many injuries this season. Playing Kovacic in DM, so many different things.
Yeah, they're winning the league as well, aren't they?
Spurs are shit. Liverpool fans are.
You want to know something?
I realized. Someone read it. I didn't even read it.
I realized something, and I said this to Igal yesterday on his channel. If you want an ideal scenario for your team to win, you will never win because ideal scenario does not exist in football. Period. It does not exist. The year that we won the league, even forget this one, right? Even the year before that, I don't know if you guys remember. There were some games where we had to play Shaqiri right wing. Some games we played Origi up top. We rotated like Milner, Ox, and Naby Keita in the midfield every now and then. There were games where Oxlade-Chamberlain played the right wing. Like we had. Obviously, we didn't have like massive injuries or anything, but we still had injuries. The point is, football is not an ideal sport. Everyone will have injuries at some point in time.
No.
Hear me out. The best case study is this guy's team, by the way. This guy's team, Mo. You know, in the Champions League semi-final against Barcelona, that Lautaro Martinez and Marcos Thuram weren't even fit.
No. I think you guys have
Yeah,
gone.
that's actually true. Like two people that weren't even clear to clear the game by the coaching staff.
That's why Martinez was subbed off 70th minute. He's inter-captain. And they still beat Barcelona.
No, I understand that. Look, what you guys have done is you fixated on one of the reasons I made. I just said that's a factor. I'm not saying that is the reason or the sole reason. I think you guys are just fixating on what you like to then run your narratives with. I can bring in many other reasons why. Arteta is a reason why as well. You know, the board are a reason why. January is a reason why. There's plenty of reasons I can give to why we dropped off. And the City narrative can't really run. They spent £250 million in January. That's what we needed to do. So
can you give me percentages then, so we don't fixate on one reason? Like, tell me what are the reasons?
I say like maybe the injuries are about a 15 to 20% of the reason. I'm actually going to contribute 50% to the window, to the January, to the summer window for lack of preparation.
Both
and not
windows,
actually
you can
bringing.
say both windows, yeah.
And then I'll give 10%. I'll give the rest of it to 30%, maybe even a bit more. You can fluctuate those, and I'll give a portion of it to the January window to not reinforce, because that sends a message to the players they've kind of given up on them.
Fair. I hear it.
Spurs are shit. Liverpool fans are all salty over Zubimendi. How quick times have changed. Last season, Zubimendi was all that, and now he's a rat.
I mean, Trent's
No one
a
with a
rat
league
for them as well.
title is ever salty. No one with a league title is ever salty. You can win the transfer window. I'll win the Premier League.
Exactly. You're talking to potentially. Well, one is already won a trophy, and one is on the verge of winning a trophy, and you want to sit there.
And Mo could win Champions League too.
Zubimendi, come on, man.
Come on. And Mo could win Champions League as well. Keep that in mind. Yeah.
I'm not salty. We can't sign a £60 million player. We're going to sign inshallah.
Second 3 years.
Inshallah, we'll sign Kevin De Bruyne.
That's such an Inter signing as well.
Bro, Kevin De Bruyne, 3-year contract. Bro, we reached the Champions League final with Mkhitaryan. I'm just going to say that.
Exactly.
Crazy, isn't it?
Bro,
That is mad.
And by the way, they didn't even have to beat like easy teams. They had to beat Bayern and they had to beat Barcelona.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Darmian starting right back and center back is actually crazy. It's 2015, bro. In Italy, it's 10 years ago in Italy. United lost to City home and away last season. RSV, what does that mean? What is that related to? I don't get it. What is that related to? RSV? I'm sorry. I'm kind of lost. What is that related to? RSV, I don't know. Yes, Arsenal didn't win anything in a long while without having an out-and-out number 9 with injuries and still come second in the league for 3 seasons.
But I'm so glad you mentioned the 3 seasons. Last season, Erling Haaland was out for a month. Kevin De Bruyne was out for 4 months. Liverpool had an injury crisis. You had no significant injuries. Why didn't you win the league? And if your excuse is first time, it wasn't, because the year before that was the first time. So it was your second title race. So why did you lose the league?
Exactly.
Next super chat, please.
Why did you lose the league last season again?
Why?
I can't remember, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, we've got no excuses in it.
I know why.
That was, by the way, with inform Havertz, by the way. Inform.
I know why you lost the league. You just couldn't handle West Ham.
The pressure of it, yeah.
That's Villa. Arteta can't make in-game decisions and tactic when going behind, but he's learning. He's only have 5 years of experience. Guinea pig Arsenal, we're here for it.
Let's go. I'm so
Hakai. The problem with this argument is that you're really saying that it's okay for your club as an Arsenal to have a manager that is learning on the job while getting paid £50 million a year. By the way, people keep forgetting that if Arteta was on like 3-5 million pound, we'll say yes, the team, he's not getting paid a lot. Arteta is the second highest paid manager in the Premier League. I know that he only has 5 years experience. So why is he getting paid 15 million? Like, what's the reason for that? Well, you can't have it both ways. Like, he's getting paid way more than everyone else. Only Pep is getting paid more than him.
He's inexperienced.
Okay, you can't say that. Richard is saying Nagelsmann would be a better signing than you could. I don't think Nagelsmann is that old.
By the way, just so everyone knows this, there are actually many Arsenal fans who are done with Arteta now. I know Souls might not interact with them, but there are a few like who are like fully.
Oh no,
done.
I know there are. The been
Yeah,
for
like
a
there
long
are
time.
people who are not waiting for a striker or any of this. There are people who are just done with this shit already.
Can I tell you something? I think the Arteta outers have won already.
I agree.
I think they have won
3 years
already.
in a row and nothing is mad.
Alas, I think they have won. I think the Arteta outers just won. When I get Babs saying that this season has been a failure, they're blah blah blah. Okay, you know that. Like, alas, like you know that the pressure is coming at Arsenal. I'm telling you something. If in the beginning of next season Arsenal don't start perfect, I think Arteta might be like out of his depth and he might be gone. That's it. And don't tell me
like
Champions
Arsenal
League.
need to like win the first 6 games or something.
Bro, fans in the stadium are just gonna if he gets a Gyokeres and Zubimendi and the left winger and he's not like fucking 10 games into the season, he's fucking not top of the league, people are gonna say fuck this shit, bro. Fucking done.
Yeah, I agree.
We're out of here, people. Road watch Arteta and some of the players is to blame for the season. Only some players with their hearts, not all of them. Spurs is shit. Why is everyone just saying Spurs is shit? They're about to win a trophy. MHF, thank you for bringing this guy on the panel. I was looking for him. Which guy, Nilot Pal? Can you please ask him what to his were coming for Liverpool in March and what happened to his big talks? Talk now, please. Souls, what did I tell you off the
I
screen?
don't care. I'm a fan. I'm not. Look, this whole content creation has deluded people to not be fans anymore. Like, if Deji is not sitting there and saying we are going for United and we're going to pam their fucking asses in, I'm not going to agree as a Spurs fan. You should be absolutely confident in your team. I don't give a shit, man. I'm a fan first. This content shit doesn't really matter to me. I don't really need to do it. I'm just doing it for the fun of it. And I am a fan. And I am going to say outrageous things. And I'm going to continue to say outrageous things. I can say we're going to obliterate the league next season and be wrong. I don't care. I'm not asked about being right or wrong. I just want my team to do the best they can. And I'll support them behind that. That's what I am. So it is what it is.
Fantastic, to be honest with you. Deji, are you confident about, for some whatever fucking reason, me and Hussam think that Spurs will win the final, by the way?
Do you know what?
Deji knows this. I worked with Deji before Frankfurt and I told him you're winning the Europa League. Before.
You know what, Deji? George, we told him Spurs are going to reach Europa League final. When you still had like, who did you beat in the quarterfinal? Frankfurt. And who did you beat in the round of 16?
Yeah.
Who did you beat in the round of 16?
AZ.
People said that you're going to get knocked out AZ. I said, me and Hussam told you, you're going to go. Right? You're going to go to the next. Frankfurt, I said, you're going to go. Bodo Glimt. I think you're going to, bro, you've got to blow Bodo Glimt 6-1 or something like this.
And I think you're going to win it now.
And I think the problem is, when we do straight facts with Terry thinks we're bantering him. I'm actually not.
Yeah.
I'm saying what I think is going to happen in the final.
I really think Spurs will slap United. I really do.
Look, guys, I'm telling you now, mate. If Tottenham wins the Europa League, Mo, Sam, let's make this a regular, mate. Let's make it a regular. Now, the thing for me, the only issue I have is I think Tottenham can do it, but I'll be lying to you if I said that I wasn't nervous. Why am I nervous?
It's normal to be nervous.
We've slapped United up 3 times this season. And I dread to think that the one that mattered most is the one that we bottled. You know, I don't think I could live with myself. I will stop streaming. You know, Hussein, Mo, our communication would be on WhatsApp only. Like you'll never see me again. But I am hoping that Tottenham can get it over the line for football, for content creating.
I think for the good of football, Spurs have to win.
For the good of
football, Spurs have to win.
Yes, and you want to know something, Deji? I want to take inspiration from your former captain, Harry Kane. Because if he cut his curse this year, then you will as well.
Bro.
Yeah,
You
I
will
mean,
ever.
I saw him lift his trophy. He's
And Europa
delighted.
League is bigger than Bundesliga, so
him.
he will actually regret it that he didn't stay at Spurs.
Stop, more
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah. And no, he's won the league, and you know, he's
Yeah,
in the
Bundesliga's fucking dusted. They fucking won it like 12 times out of 13, bro.
No, for real. But for me, I guess the question is,
But if they signed Solanke, he still have won the Bundesliga.
oh, you mean Bayern? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. But I guess the question is, look, if Tottenham were to win the Europa League, which would be amazing, and remember, for Tottenham, it literally is 2 for the price of 1. We get the trophy monkey off our back, and we get Champions League football, which at the beginning of the season, Mo, we talked about this. I said I didn't give a damn as long as Tottenham had Champions League the following season. And if they get it this way, I am shameless enough to say, you know what, hold that, and hold that. The real question for me, though, would be this.
Hold on. Can I do this? This is a United fan.
Soccer junkie must be smoking Budgie Banton. And the reason why I say that, they are worse than Spurs. They are worse than us. Like, honestly, they are worse than us. Like, he's smoking Budgie Banton. He's been on it all day on an empty stomach. That's why he's coming out with rubbish like that.
Okay, Janky, big up for the super chat, my man. We are going to win it. I don't understand the super chat. How are you going to win it before they're giving it?
I don't know how, but also they are terrible. Like, they're crap.
Like Man United 15th and Spurs 16th. Some Man United fans really act like they're way superior to Spurs because they have won.
Like, you're really not superior.
They act like we're way superior to Spurs, you know.
You're
like,
really not that superior, honestly.
And let's be real.
You're one place above.
Come in, stop it. I will send you the link now. You're acting way superior as well.
You wanna come cook
United
Deji? I think you will get cooked by
Leon.
Deji.
Leon should have won. Say that again. What was that?
He's saying he's gonna cook you. I think you will cook him.
You can't cook me.
Yeah, you will get
Staffy
cooked.
can't cook me. If I was Staffy, I better just stay offline. If I was him, he better not join this show tonight. He better not join this show because I will cook the hell out of that brother. Ain't that the United team that got beat, that just got slapped up by Brentford?
Yes.
And let me tell you before Staffy arrives, so he can start preparing his arguments in the back. Any United fan that streams or puts comments in the chat should be ashamed of themselves. Let me tell you why. This was a team that used to win trebles. This was a team that was going for titles. Now you want to compare yourself with my club. Are you mad? You're 15th in the league, getting slapped time after time like Cindy Lauper. Your manager doesn't know what to do with himself. Amarin is broken. Can you look at that guy? He's even saying he hopes to win, but he knows he doesn't deserve to win. When your manager is talking like that, you know you are muddied. But the worst thing for me is when I look at that Man United team, I just see action figures. Frumpy guys. Luke Shaw, frumpy. Casemiro, frumpy. Xerxes, frumpy. Hoyland, frumpy. All frumpy players. Frumpy, and frumpy. There is no way that dusty team should beat Spurs unless they've got the devil on their back. Literally that. And they can hold that.
I do have to caveat your point. We've seen this before where they shouldn't have won a cup and they go on to win a cup. Like Man City versus United in the final at Wembley for the FA Cup, they had no right to win that and they go do it. I'm telling you, the deal with the devil is strong. Yeah, don't underestimate this deal that they've got.
Yeah. For real, I think so. And this is why we're seeing them in the mud. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, when I see...
Hold on. Can I ask you something? Okay, if you make Champions League next season, do you think you're miles ahead of United? Like if you win Europa League, for example.
I will say this to you, man. I'm going to give you an insight.
Well, being honest. I'm asking you, being honest. Yeah. Do you think Spurs are miles ahead of United?
Yes.
But how? Can you explain? How?
So can I say this? If you watch my clips and if you remember our conversations,
I watched some of your clips.
But I know you've forgotten some of our conversations. anyone that knows me I've been calling Man United dusty before they kicked the ball, saying that they've been rubbish and that they were sinking like the Titanic, which is what we have seen so far this season. Tottenham's bad form this season was unexpected. For whatever reason, nobody was expecting this, but we were expecting Man United to be this rubbish. Yes,
No,
we did.
weren't. Not with
Yes, we
Amarim,
did.
no.
First of all, in the summer, you told me you'd be
a
ahead of me this table in this season, and me
Oh,
and you
Staffy,
were in the dumps.
What are you
Now,
doing?
you told
What are
me
you doing
minutes
here?
ago, you
What are you
waffled
doing?
enough. I've heard you
What are
waffle
you
for a
doing?
while.
What are you
That's why I
doing
asked
here,
for the
bro?
link. You said United fans are
What are you
acting
doing
like
here?
they're superior to us. No one said that.
We're superior to
Then
you,
you
bro.
sit here and said,
No, no,
we're
no, no, no,
clearer
no.
than.
Staffy, not you, but Soccer
No,
Junkies
no,
are
not
United
me. I know,
fan.
but you said United
Soccer
fans
Junkies are
pretend that they're
United. No, no, but
superior.
hold on. Soccer Junkies are United fan. We're going to an even before the game even started. That's the definition of acting
He
superior.
can feel that way if he wants. He feels that way. That doesn't mean that we think we're superior. Everyone with a little bit of a brain knows how bad we've been this season. But you can't sit here and say they
How
are
bad
pretending
you've
to be
been.
superior to us. Yeah,
How
I'm hearing
bad
some
you've
saying
been,
we're going to
bro.
get smashed in the final. And I'm hearing Deji saying, yes, next season we'll be clear of them. Based on what? You're
All
sitting
right,
below
let's-
me this table.
Let's do this. Let's do this, Staffy. We know under Eric Ten Hag, your trajectory has been going down. Yeah, you've been weakening. Yeah, Tottenham, we went up and we've gone down this season, and we're on our way back up.
Why are you going back up?
Can I ask you a question?
Why are you going back up? Wait, you can't just make a statement and we'll just say it as a fact.
Let me lead, and then you're gonna lead. Do you
No, but I
think
can't
you,
dismiss
have
what you
you
just
turned
said.
have you turned the corner under Amarin?
And you haven't. I never said that.
No,
You
don't
just said
answer
our
a
trajectory is
question with
going
a
back up.
question.
Why?
Crazy.
Based on
Have
what?
you- have you
Why are you
turned the
asking him?
corner?
Have you turned the
Have
corner?
you turned the corner, Staffy?
Why are you asking me that when you just claimed that you turned the corner?
Oh my
Why?
days.
Why am I
Okay.
supposed to take
Should I
your
move
word
to
as
the
it's a
next-
fact?
Should I move to the next point?
No, because you
Have
just
you
said
turned- have you
no.
haven't even answered the
Control the
question.
show, please. Control the show.
Deji, you haven't
don't
even
get to
answered
just
the
say-
question.
You don't just get to make an outlandish statement and I have to treat it as a fact and then you reverse it as a question on me. You just said we were up last season, we went down and we're back up. Who suggests that you're going back up? Based on what? Because I
Based on
could
the
say the
fact.
same thing on
Based
10
on
Hag.
the
I was
fact.
going up, I won a cup, went down, won a cup, and now I could say, oh, with Emma, I'm going up and I'm going to win a cup again. Is that the truth?
reason
No,
why
it's
I'm
not.
saying that is because one, we're in a final, and two, we had
And I'm in the same
unprecedented
final
injuries.
with you. So there I go. I'm going up too.
We had unprecedented injuries this season, is it not?
And I didn't have injuries?
Yeah. And can I also say that you're performing like this with a new manager bounce, yeah?
We never had a manager bounce, which is fine with me.
But you had a new manager.
Yo, so are you getting a new manager? So you're
The
getting
other,
a new
the other
bounce.
thing is, Staffy, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not very good on stats. How many times have you played Spurs this season?
3 times.
How many times did you win?
0 times.
How many times did you draw?
Well, I just said 0 times. Oh, draw.
Hold
I
that.
mean, you could see that you know you won 3 times, so you don't need to ask me that.
Hold that. That's what we do in the legal.
This is how I know you don't know nothing about winning
Let me
trophies.
tell you
by the
what.
way.
Let me tell you what I did.
Because I have to
I
sit
did-
here and listen to someone like
let me
you
tell
who
you-
hasn't.
let
You've been
me
in
tell
one
you
final
what
for
I
20
did.
years, and your
I
reason to
gave
why you're going to
you-
win the finals because you beat
Let
me
me
in
tell you what I
September.
just did.
One at a
Let me tell
time,
you
one
what
at
I
a
just
time.
did to you, Staffy.
Can you let Staffy talk a little bit, Deji? To respond
I
at least
can
to
Bro
do
you.
just
you
asked me
lead-
for a
I
second and said,
gave-
hold that. Congrats. So because
I
you won
gave-
3 times, do you even know who played for us those 3 games?
I gave you
I'm going to play a
leading
collective
question.
30 minutes in those 3
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to play
Staffy,
collective
but let me-
30 minutes in the
Let
final?
me tell you why I think I like.
We had a
you, you know,
19-year-old, by the way. We had an all 19-year-old bench against you when we came to your stadium, and we lost because of an anonymous mistake. The only senior player I had on the bench was Lindelof. Does anyone ever mention that?
Is Onana a fan or a player?
No, I said it was due to a mistake. It's not like you outclassed me.
Football, most goals are down to mistakes, bro.
So
Tell
you
me
want me to
something
do
new.
results-based analysis and not talk about
Yeah,
why I
but-
lost or how I lost to you?
Steffi, don't you? But can I just say this though? You are Manchester United.
Yes, I'm aware.
You are of English heritage in the sense that Man United and Liverpool are the 2 biggest clubs in the Premier League.
I'm aware of that.
And you're here today in 2025 trying to argue your point about who's bigger between you or Spurs, you're
That's not the
15
point
or
I'm trying to make at
17,
all.
I
and
never
you're
said
fighting
that.
over a
Where did I
Europa
say
League
that?
final.
Where did I say that?
Are you not ashamed of yourself?
What
Why
I'd
is
be
he
ashamed
ashamed
if
for
I
not
made that
ashamed?
statement, but luckily I didn't make that statement. I joined the stream because you guys lied and said you were acting superior when we weren't. I know
That
going
super
into this
chat
game,
did. That super chat did. To be honest with you.
not really. He thinks he's gonna win the game before it starts. That's up to him. There's a lot. Sam said they're gonna smash him. So what is Hussam being arrogant as well as that super chat? Why is Hussam not being?
No,
called
I
up saying
think
they're
Spurs
gonna
are
get
gonna win
smashed?
3-1.
When have United ever been smashed in a final? We played City last season and didn't get smashed. So
Barcelona
why would I
smashed
get
you.
smashed in a final to Spurs?
Barcelona smashed you.
No, it was 3-1. It wasn't
It was
smashing.
3-1 and it
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
really
yeah,
a
it was.
smashing, and that's the
When Ferguson was
the
doing
best
this.
team in
It was not
history.
smashing.
That is the best team in probably
Sam,
in history. What-
3-1 is not a smashing. Yeah. Anyway,
Habibi,
moving on.
3-1, 3-1,
3-1.
15,
3-1 in a
16
final
years
is
ago
literally a smashing.
against Messi, prime Messi and prime Pep
Um,
Guardiola has nothing to do with me playing against fucking Ange Postecoglou and whoever they're gonna put it on the day. That is not even a parallel situation.
Are you confident?
I've been on record saying this. I already said this. If this makes you feel better, Deji, I said if United go with the mentality that it's just Spurs into the final, I said we're already gonna lose. So that is me giving the Spurs team respect and giving the occasion respect. My issue with you is that you think because you beat me in the regular season, it means you're gonna beat me in the final. That is not how finals are played.
I didn't say that though. You and I
No,
think
but
you might
you
I think-
insinuated that by asking me what
I
were the
think you-
results this season. You
Can
said
I-
you
can I
beat me
be
3
real?
times. One second. You've spoken a lot. You asked me how many times you faced off this season and how many wins you've had. I said 3. You said hold that. That is you insinuating because you won 3 times. I mean, it's an automatic result. It's given away that you're going to beat me in the final. That doesn't happen. What I
Okay.
think that was the point RSV was trying to make in the super chat, Mo. City
But
beat
I
me
also-
last season twice, and then I beat them in the final. Finals are played in a different occasion. And if you ask me who has a better chance, as much as I respect the Spurs team, I have a manager who's won things, and I have a crop of players that maybe individually before collectively playing for this team have won a lot of things. So these guys have experience. These guys have experience being in the final last season and having experience being in the final 2 seasons ago. You have Mason Mount, who has experience of being in European Cup finals, Casemiro being in European Cup finals, Onana being in European Cup finals, Maguire being in European Cup finals, Bruno Fernandes in being in European Cup finals. You don't have that. And I could easily sit here and you could tell you that you think you could come in and play the style of football that you guys are renowned for, whatever it is that Ange wants to do. But when you play the occasion, you'll find out that it's not the same thing. You'll find out the hard way, Deji, if that's the way that you think, that when you go into finals, the occasion has nothing to do with the form going in. You could be one of the worst teams ever and still go into the game and win it because the occasion has nothing to do with the form going in. Nothing under that 3-0, by the way, defeat. That was the worst defeat that we had against you guys. 3-0 defeat under Ten Hag. It was the first game of the season before he got sacked. We don't even play that same way anymore. We don't even play that style. We don't even play that formation. So that game is completely irrelevant. It is more relevant to look at the FA Cup game and to look at the second game. And even then, you have to look at it and say what players were available on the day. We had so many injuries when we played you guys. You did too, but we had our best players out. We played 30 minutes of Ahmad. Ahmad came on and scored 2 goals against you guys. So I could easily say if I have him full for 90 minutes, I could smoke you. And by the way, you guys are dismissing us like we didn't go this whole competition undefeated. You lost in the Europa League. I haven't. So why is it for you to sit here and say I didn't lose to United and I can't use the reason that I'm going to win the final because I haven't lost the whole competition. I came back against Lyon. I came back against Bilbao. I came back against Sociedad. I've been there. I've done that. I have a lot more experience than you go into this game. So how can you pretend that doesn't exist?
No disrespect. Before you logged on, I actually said that I am nervous about the final because it would be Tottenham to beat you 3 times in the league, but in the one that mattered most, that United get it over the line. And I said that being nerves. But generally speaking, pound for pound, I think, Staffy, you can say there is no team in the Premier League that fears United. Unfortunately,
you don't have to fear me.
Whether you go
to, I don't want you to.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, yes, we got to a Europa League final, and there are reasons for why we got to the final that we can discuss on another show. We're there. Let's play it out. Let's see what happens. But when I see your team turn up against Brentford, get slapped, turn up against Bournemouth,
You
get
lost more
slapped,
games than me
turn
this
up
season.
against
What does that have to
Spurs,
do with
get
anything?
when you
Who lost more this season, me or you?
The point of the matter is,
You got
whatever
slapped up more
happens,
than me.
whatever happens, Staffy, let's both agree that your team, which you have done to your credit, you're crap, bro. Like, there's no polite way of putting it.
I don't
You
think
are
my team
crap.
is great, and I'm
No,
aware
your
of that.
team's crap, bro. Let's be
But
real.
it seems like you're forgetting that your team is not that team either.
Bruv,
Because
I know
since
that.
you got your players back, and you
I
admitted, I
know
was
that.
listening to the show.
Oh, you know
You
what
said
makes
the
me
reason you
laugh?
want Ange out. Let me hold on. Let me quote you for what you just said. You said the reason you want Ange out is because even after all these injuries came back, you're still not playing good football. So that is you admitting that you think your team has been crap with and without injuries. So how am I supposed to listen to you, a Spurs fan who watches his team game in, game out, say that and be like, you know what, we're crap, but they're so amazing. Oh my God, I have to be scared of Spurs in the final.
I didn't say
we're
we're
both
amazing.
crap teams in the final. So admit
exactly,
that.
bro. But I'm saying, based on your heritage, based on your context, that you guys are worse.
I don't think we're worse.
And that's fine. Well, we'll see.
There's areas in the
How
pitch where I
can you
think I'm
deny-
worse than you.
Staffy, I'm so sorry. I didn't interrupt you both once. The statement that you made is actually quite accurate. Based on the fact that you're Man United, you being 15th is way worse than him being 16th. I'm so sorry. That's just so true.
Why? Because of my name? What does the name
Yes.
have to do with
Yes.
the end of the day with the
Because
squad
bad,
that I have?
okay, I'll give you an example.
So
Using
by
own
my
club.
name, I should be competing right
No,
now
no,
for
I'll
first.
give
Is
you
that
an
what you're
example
saying?
using my own club. Wait, Habibi. The worst Liverpool ever finish 8th. Ever, by the way. Worst ever Liverpool finish 8th. You can't be 15th and be Man United. Me and you, if we're
Yes,
sitting
you
here...
can. It's an entitlement.
Hear
You're
me
going
out,
back to
hear
the
me out,
entitlement
hear
that the
me out.
United fan
Yes,
base
yes,
do.
of course it's an entitlement because Liverpool and United fans are entitled. It's normal.
Oh, I have
We're
Hoyland
entitled
and
to
Garnacho up front, but because my name is Man United, I should be in the top 4. What are we doing?
Do you know who played for Liverpool in 2012? Can you have some fucking shame?
There was then Garnacho and
Talk
Hoyland.
about
That's
Hoyland
what
and
we do.
Garnacho. You know that had Christian Poulsen, David Ngo, Danny
There was
Wilson,
bro, Habibi.
Sotirios
Two attackers
Kyrgiakos.
have double-digit goals in the league combined. So please,
have
before you
anyone-
bring up that Liverpool
I didn't have
team,
anyone with double-digit goals.
don't
at
give
the
me that
time.
bullshit. Because
I
I'm not
didn't.
one of those entitled top reds that say because
Stop.
my name is Manchester United, I have to be in
No,
the
but
top
that's
4.
true. Number
No,
one,
I
that's
don't have
true.
top 4 players
Number one,
because I'm a
that's
shit
true.
club.
Number one, that's true. Number two, our top goal scorer is Dirk Kuyt and Maxi Rodriguez.
Dirk Kuyt, I'd love to have Dirk Kuyt in this team right now. Dirk Kuyt over
Dirk
fucking
Kuyt was a
Garnacho.
fucking winger in our team, not even a striker. Now, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
Habibi, you called me in the watch along
Our
when
top goal
Garnacho
scorer
missed
had like
1v1. Are we going to pretend that we didn't
our
see
top
this?
goal scorer had
Don't
like
lie.
11 goals. 11 goals, bro. Our top goal
11
scorer.
goals, that's more than both of them combined. Thank you. You proved my
Yes, but that's less than Bruno, I think. But anyway, no, that's not the point.
point. No, yeah, he's going to
Let's just
score
go
everything
back to the
alone.
point. Yeah, maybe let's go back to the point. Yeah, wait.
What year was that Liverpool team? by the way?
Deji's statement is an accurate
What year was that
statement.
Liverpool team? Wallahi, I'm just curious.
Fine, it's fine. Deji's statement is an accurate statement. The reason why his statement is an accurate statement is the following. He's saying because you're Manchester United and you're an astronomically bigger club and you've had so much success in the modern era, it's way worse for you to be 15th than for Spurs to be 16th. When we mention Spurs in any conversation, yeah, and I give you a genuine example. If me and you were doing a stream with Igal and Lewis, and we said, okay, let's rank the top 4 biggest clubs in England, Igal and Lewis cannot talk to me and you. Igal and Lewis will argue with each other. So we do have that entitlement of like, okay, we can be bad, but we can't be that bad. So Spurs being 16th is actually way less embarrassing than Man United being 15th.
But what does that have to do with any point we discussed?
No, but that's the point
weren't
he's
talking
saying.
about what's more
Based
embarrassing.
on your heritage, based on who you are, based on the fact you're Man United, you being 15th is way worse than him being 16th.
I know that, but what does that have to do with any point we
Yeah,
made?
so
Because
didn't
the
lie.
point
He
that
made
you're
a correct
making,
point.
listen, the point that you're making that I fell this far and I'm sitting in 15th or whatever, yes, that is true. But now I have to go back and say what led me to get that this situation. Look at the recruitment over the last 3 years. Look at the sales that we made over the last 3 years. Look at the appointments of managers over the last 3 years. That has nothing to do with this.
Well, then
Exact
Deji can
point.
say
If you're
that as
asking
well.
what's more embarrassing, of course it's more embarrassing for United to fall from how high they were to where they are right now. But that was never the discussion. We never talked about that. And this is why I said I cannot use my name alone as Manchester United to say, oh, I have a divine right to be in the top 4 every year. Because guess what? I'm not recruiting like the top 4 teams or top 5 teams as good as they've been over the last 3 years. I've not been appointing better managers than them. I haven't put in the legwork. So if you want me to be deluded and be a deluded top red, I could easily do that. It's just never been me. It's never been my gimmick on YouTube.
And forgive me,
Yes.
forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, Staffy, but I remember having a conversation with you where I was told I can't be in this space because we haven't won a trophy.
What do you mean?
The point being, you reference the fact of all the trophies you used to win, along with all the other trophy winners, to poo-poo me and say I shouldn't be in this space because I'm not a trophy winner. And here you are today saying,
When you say me
you're
not being
not
in
a top
space,
red,
it's like, are you talking
you're
about
not
you personally or
entitled, but yet
Spurs?
you used entitlement against me before. I'm just saying. I'm just reminding
I
you.
generally don't even know what you're talking about. Like I'm
No
trying to
problem.
understand the conversation, but I really don't know.
Alright,
Me and you don't really stream like that a lot, so I can't even remember what you're talking about.
alright, no problem.
If I
No
sat
problem.
there and I probably told you that I'm a bigger club than you, I mean, it is true. I still don't have the history to prove that.
Well, are you being humble or not? Because you 1 minute you are.
It's not about being humble; it's about being real.
You're a top red. You're not a top red. If you make a
No,
statement
humility
like that,
and realism are two different
if you
things.
make a statement like that, you're a top red. So you just need to decide.
No. Humility and realism are two different things. The realism says that I'm still a bigger club than you. The realism tells me also that right now I'm not at that standards that I once was performing at. So I could be humble about it, be like, you know what, I
And
can't
what
talk
makes
like
you
I
a
was
bigger
talking
club?
10 years
And what
ago.
makes you a bigger
I'm
club
still a
than
bigger
Spurs?
club than you.
Based on what? Based on what?
What's based on what?
What makes you a bigger club? Because this goes back to the
Than
point I
Spurs?
was making. Yeah.
Do I really have to say it?
Once you say it, you know you've already poo-pooed your own argument. But say it.
Wait, so I have to sit here on a stream justify why Manchester United are a bigger club than Spurs?
Bro, you have to decide whether you're a top red or not.
Wait, I'm a bigger club than you. It doesn't mean I have a great team. I could be I'm a bigger club than you, and I just have a shit team this year.
I think you're tangling yourself up.
I think you're very confused.
I don't understand what Deji's saying.
I think he's
I'm
very
a little
confused.
bit. I'm a little bit confused.
Let me tell you. So Staffy, on one
Genuinely,
hand,
I am confused.
on one hand, Staffy is saying, "Look, I'm not coming here all entitled, saying that Man United is guaranteed to win because of our history, because we've been crap." But then we'll say, on the other hand, because of our history, we're a bigger club. And I'm saying, decide.
Well, these are two different conversations. My history makes me a bigger club than you. It doesn't matter if I'm shit this year. I'm still a bigger club than you. You haven't won anything for 20 years.
Staffy, look, I can't wait to.
These are two completely different. I can't believe we just.
No, I'm not. I am.
I
can't wait until May the 21st. Let's just get out there. Let's see who wins. But know this, Staffy. Should Tottenham win, be available.
Oh,
what does it have to?
Why? What do you have?
What is this? What is this? What is this threatening?
I want to be on this channel.
What is it?
Staffy joins this channel and he gets cooked. That's all I'm asking.
What am I gonna get cooked for? I'm not gonna be on the pitch. If we lose, we lose. I already said it's gonna be a close game. What do you want me to do?
Come on,
so I'm gonna get cooked for saying it's gonna be a close game.
Yes.
Yeah, why would he get cooked for this?
Like, what did I do? Was I on the pitch that day?
If Tottenham win,
like, I can lose to you and still be a bigger club, Deji. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Why are you not
I
playing
feel
the
like
nation?
I'm in between points and nothing is relevant.
I don't.
Like, it's so irrelevant.
I don't accept that.
So
what do you mean you can't accept that? What does that even mean?
We don't want to resolve this today.
Like, Mo, are you with me, Mo? Because I just like the guy's making points and I'm trying to tie them together and they just don't make anything. Like, I'm trying to create an image in my head. All these points are irrelevant.
Are you insinuating if you beat them in the final that you're a bigger club?
Yeah, like,
what are you trying to say? Like,
he brought that up, but then he's saying if I beat in the final,
I'm saying to you that there's a changing of the guard.
Changing of the wait.
What? No. Wait.
Changing of the guard in what way? How? What do you mean?
So if I lose the Europa League, Spurs is a bigger club than me.
I think it's a sign that Spurs will start to do more bits in the league and in Europe than United over the next few years.
No, the only sign we better see from that is that you go and age in.
You will see more coming from. You will see more coming from Tottenham than you will United.
So are you gonna back Ainge at least? Because we're acting like that didn't happen after all that. For someone who doesn't back his manager, I'm very surprised how you really confident going into the final. You don't even back this manager. You don't trust this manager. Yet you have all this chance.
This same manager beat you 3 times.
So okay, so he's a good manager. Can
No,
we hear it from your mouth?
he's not a good manager.
So you
Well,
beat me
he's
three
beaten you
times with this manager, but he's not a good manager.
Maybe he knows how to beat United. Could that be right?
It sounds like you're flip flopping. You want to have your, you want to bake your cake and eat it. That's what you want to do. You want to sit here and brag about Spurs and back Spurs.
I just want us to stop arguing and wait for the final to be over.
No, but you made too many outrageous statements just in the last few minutes. Like, I'm so confused on what you're trying to say. So changing of the guard, like, the only way that happens is you got to go start winning the league. Like, is that what you're insinuating?
Why not? Why can't Spurs start winning the league?
Can I tell you something, Deji? Wallah lazim, this is, I mean, being a neutral. If Spurs in the next 5 years finished third, 5 years in a row, went to the Champions League, and United finished outside, played Europa League, finished 1 year in the Champions League, 1 year in Europa League, there is still no comparison between the two clubs. It's not, they don't even.
That's not what I'm suggesting, though. I'm suggesting
so unless you are suggesting what Souls is saying, which is, for example, in the next 5 years, Spurs win 3 league titles. Right?
No. Mo. Don't give him a way out of his own statement. His own statement is if they win the Europa League, he's seeing a shift of the guard. He said that.
I'm saying
the beginning Europa League
of the guard, and I would go as far as to say that Spurs, from this point onwards, for the next 5 to 10 seasons, will win more trophies than United.
I mean, that can very well happen. I'm not taking that away.
You
suggested a shift of the guard based on big club. You tried to claim that you are a bigger club if you win this Europa League, because that was the whole point that you mentioned from the beginning.
Bro, I mean, look, I don't want to repeat myself again, but I don't.
You can win trophies. It doesn't make you all of a sudden a bigger club.
Let me just in 30 seconds. Let me tell you what I think of your club. I think you're finished. I think after
as a club, just finished.
I don't think United are coming back. Like, legitly, they're not competing anytime soon.
That could very well happen.
Mid-table, top 6 at most. That's it. So for me, because I think that about your club,
so why do you think that Spurs will be there then, based on what
I think Tottenham for the foreseeable future will be finishing above United in the league. 100%.
For the foreseeable future.
And winning more trophies.
I think that's a crazy take. I think that's a crazy take.
You finished ahead of Arsenal about 6 years.
What you guys do? Look, we're not gonna look. It's
no,
late.
because you want to say things and
you make statements. You make wild statements, and
we're not supposed to challenge him. Don't challenge him.
You think like wild statements, and then you think like just gonna sit here.
Your whole statement goes flat because even under Poch, you finished above us like what 4 or 5 seasons in a row.
About 5 or 6 years in a row, and no one thinks Spurs are bigger than Arsenal. So what makes you think you finishing ahead of me 5 or 6 years in a row? You're bigger than me, and I'm bigger than Arsenal.
What I don't like is this kind of narrative where, because of the history, we have to hold people.
So I'm supposed to erase my history all of a sudden. All these people who worked hard for this.
I think United are done.
Like history.
I think United are done, and the only way that we will see the proof of this is over time.
So forget my 20 league titles. If you finish ahead of me in the league, by the way, you didn't even say win the league. If you finish ahead of me in the league, So Mo, fuck my Premier Leagues. Sir Alex Ferguson, everyone go spit on all the work that he's done for 26 years. Deji just said if he finishes ahead of me in the league for the next 5 years, that erases 20 years of success.
Can I ask the question?
What are we doing here?
When, realistically, based on what you're seeing in your club, when do you think you'll be back competing?
I don't know. I don't know.
Exactly.
Can I tell you something, Deji? Can I tell you something for real?
You can't say exactly.
Before
United not coming back has no correlation to how big Spurs are. You can actually, the only team that has an argument is Liverpool, because now they are picking up these titles that made me distance myself from them over the last 20 years. So now when they pick up a league this year, a Champions League a couple years ago, now people are going back to that argument saying, are now Liverpool the bigger club? But there's a very good reason to say Liverpool. Me not coming back has nothing to do with you. It is completely irrelevant.
Why do you think bro, Deji, you don't sit on the same table with these guys. You just don't.
I'm not hearing that argument.
You don't.
Okay. You're Arsenal are bigger than Spurs, and it takes us a very long time to even get close to it. You know.
Now, why don't? Because what you guys do is when you put your arguments together, you always go back. It's not inconceivable that maybe Spurs in the next 4 or 5 seasons, if Tottenham wins the league in the next 4 or 5 seasons,
But that doesn't change the guard.
Hold
That
on,
does
hold
not
on,
change
hold
the
on.
guard at all.
Hold on. If Crystal Palace win the league in the next 5 seasons, do you think Crystal bigger than Spurs?
Yes,
They're supposed to be the best.
they win the league.
Yes.
They're the biggest club in England now.
Of course, bro. The Premier League is the pinnacle of club football, bro. Of course,
They've
it would
got
be.
20 of them. Brother, they've won it 20 times. What do you mean?
Bro, I'm of the opinion you're only as good as your last game, or you're only as good as your last season.
It's
That's how we
completely
work.
irrelevant.
That's why we banter you. That's why we banter Arsenal.
Wait. So
Why
last
Arsenal
season, yeah, United beat City to an FA Cup. Are they now bigger and better? Are they better than them now? Like, what are we talking about? What are we doing?
You know what the problem is, Deji? I know you're not winding us up. I know you believe what you say.
And that's the sad part. That's the sad part.
I
You
know
what?
that. I know
actually
that
got him.
people
Oh,
think
I actually
Deji is
got him.
trolling. People, wallah al-azim, people in the chat, sorry, Staffy. You guys think that Deji is trolling. I've streamed with Deji hours and hours of streams.
He
Osam as
means
well.
everything he says. I know.
He means what he does. He's an honest man. People think he's trolling. He's an honest man. He means what he's saying. And I don't. I to be honest with you, Deji, up to this point, you have not presented an argument here on this channel to back your statements. That Spurs
He
will
said
be
so
bigger than
many
the
statements that are not even correlated. And by the way, he just said it's all about the league. He said the league is the bread and butter. If he wins the Europa League this year and Arsenal finish second, he won't say that Arsenal are bigger than them, even though Arsenal had him in the league. So his statements actually, like, they conflict. They don't make no sense. He makes one statement here, one statement there, and he can never tie them together.
Because before
They
you came
couldn't be
onto the
more
stream,
further away from each other.
Yeah, we agreed that Spurs have technically a more successful season, but we finished second. So which one is it? Like, you can't have it both ways. So is the league? Because by the way, you never said you're going to win the league. You said you can finish third for the next 5 seasons, and that's.
If you were arguing with you, by the way, we're challenging your statements.
I can't be bothered.
Because you made
you
made an outrageous statement.
I can't be bothered. We'll do it. We'll continue on another.
We'll continue another day. To be honest with you, we'll do a preview. We'll do another. We'll do another stream. Where we actually, Staffy Habibi, take a breather, chill. It is Spursy. Papa Beard, you won't say that when Spurs win Europa League. Also, win the Europa, and nobody will remember you finished 17th. We finished 10th in 2012. But all people remember mostly is how we won the Champions League. Absolutely, Papa Beard. But Europa League is not Champions League. Let me just say that, Papa Beard.
Who finished 10th in 2012?
I don't think they finished. I don't know. I don't know where they finished.
He's talking about Chelsea because they won the Champions League 2012. Chelsea finished.
Yeah,
sixth.
He's a Chelsea fan. He's a Chelsea fan.
They finished 6th, not 10th.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking actually.
They were 10th when Mourinho got sacked, and then Conte came in.
True.
In 2012, they finished 6th. I remember.
They finished 6th, bro. And
They finished 6th because I remember Spurs were 5th or 4th.
Papa Beard, you're lying, bro.
They took the
He said
Champions
they
League.
finished 10th. Papa Beard, it's just a simple Google.
Wait,
where
Mo,
the
who
Chelsea
finished 4th that year? Was it Spurs? I think it was Spurs.
I don't know. Newcastle finished fucking 5th.
Who finished 4th?
I don't know. I can't just see the whole table, to be honest.
It was Spurs.
Oh, yeah. City finished 3rd. Spurs finished, sorry. City,
Yeah, see, I remember.
City first, United second, Arsenal, Spurs, Newcastle, Chelsea.
Spurs finished 4th. I'll never forget that year. They finished 4th, and they were getting in the Champions League for the first time in years. And Chelsea won, so they took the Champions League spot.
Yes, now I remember. Yeah, now I remember.
Yeah, Peter Crouch.
As an Arsenal fan, it is a win or lose scenario for that final. United giving Spurs their first trophy. I speak banter, but Spurs chatting to me is depressing. Well, we'll see how it goes. But listen, people, there's Spurs in the description. Of course, my channel and Osam will put Staffy TV in the description. Of course, tomorrow's a big day for Chelsea. They must win against Newcastle. If they don't win, it's a long day for them, but they still have a chance. And also, that's about it, to be honest. I'm not sure if there is anything else. There
is nothing.
Thank you, Souls, for joining. Thank you, Staffy. Sam, we'll see you guys soon. Deji, fantastic show.
Bye.
We'll see you guys.